So, got to get rolling. I spent a little time in prayer this morning. I'm just praying today. We get to do honor Mr. Buck Shaw today. Mr. Buck probably came into my life in '09 or 10, '10, somewhere in there. Maybe I think '08 was before him, and I don't even know how he showed up. I mean, you know what? It's like my life is more like a interstate than it is a county road at times. That people enter and merge in and get off. They come in, they ride. They're part of my life, and they're we're riding. You know how you get on I-20 and folks just right with you, and you may pass them or they may pass you, and then they may get off, stop at a gas station, and you're easing along, and all of a sudden here they come back. And I think it's because they're like, where'd that Dodge pickup go, or where'd that guy pulling that yellow trailer? I've been riding with him for 200 or 300 miles. Where'd he go? This may be a sermon we ought to preach. Buck got on the same road I was on. He got on the Bar None Road around 2010. And Mr. Buck kind of did, he kind of didn't have he didn't have a direction, but he had a purpose, and his purpose came from his pain. And I hope I can preach this today without making it a mess. He carried some of the greatest pain and guilt and shame of any man I've ever dealt with. And I did not know how to help him because in my upbringing, guilt was gas, shame was pain, and pain equals gain. And so you never, it was like if you had shame in an area, it was painful, and you, by golly, you worked the pain, you beat the pain, you fought the pain, you faked the pain, and guilt was gas. If you felt guilty about something, you gassed it. You gassed right over it, run over it, ride through it, and get on past it. And Mr. Buck did not have that same upbringing. I mean, he struggled. He spent time in Vietnam, and I don't know what all happened over there, but I don't know what all happened in Mr. Buck's life. But it was a lot of painful pain, and so I'm not preaching this per se, but I'm preaching something like this. He got on I-20 with me, and been for 5 6 years. He lived on one of my places that I got leased off of Gigi, a lady at church, and he helped with my kids. I helped with his bills. He worked with me. He would do little things to make a little money here and there, and then Buck got busier with ministry, and he was sharing stuff with people. He would travel and speak a little. And then Mr. Buck got really, really sick. He got hurt a couple of times, and he had strokes. And the last year of his life has been just tough. In the last 4 months, I couldn't go see him no more because I couldn't handle. Maybe I wasn't man enough. I'm sure he would have loved to have seen me, but the last time I seen him, I said, I can't see this, Mr. Buck, and I can't help you. And I got in trouble because I gave him 4 cups of water, and he wasn't supposed to be drinking water. At that, and they were taking care of him. I ain't bashing the people; they was doing their job. Mr. Buck's off that road now, and he's on at rest in the flesh. And so I just want to thank. I was singing this morning. I walked out, and first thing I did, I walked out, and I can hear water just shooting. And right at and Peaches peeing right here in the backyard. There's a stream of water 12 foot high, straight in the air, and I just had to laugh because that was Mr. Buck's life. He had so often water leaks that just at the most inappropriate times, just another problem. Why today? It's like of all the days, and I began to unravel a little and get frustrated and like not, and I just kind of laughed. I'm like, it's all right. Heck, that's just part of life with horses, and especially Peaches, because she's just a nibbler. She's just all the time jacking with something. And then I walked up to it, and it was not a water leak. It was the water had gotten the water. They were, I'm sure Austin was filling up her water bucket and forgot. So, middle of the night, ain't nothing watering. all of us are on the same water well, us and all these calves and these horses, and so that water well is shooting power pressure now straight out, and I'm like, that right there is 100% the message for Mr. Buck, because in Mr. Buck's life, all I had to do this morning was shut that valve. So often, what we see at a distance seems so unattainable, overwhelming, outside of our ability and scope for that moment. And so we ride off. We ride off. And I've had this word for since Wednesday night. You cannot. We have to stop just riding off from our issues and our struggles. And Mr. Bucks, he did that. He couldn't, if it was guilt and shame, and he couldn't, he'd just ride off. And I walked up and I shut that water valve, and then I was able to walk away with a problem solved and laughing and peace of mind and thinking just a water valve. But you can't walk away from it if you ain't never walked up to it. And so you can't ride off. You can't ride away. You can ride off. You can see something on the horizon and ride off in another direction. But you cannot ride away from it if you will not ride up to it. I hope you come see Mr. Buck today. I hope you come pay your respects. If you're a horseback, or if you ever loved riding horses with him or being around him, bring your horse. Honor him today how he'd be wanting to be honored, and that's a horseback. Bless his family. He's got some kids. I don't think they'll all be able to be there, but I know 2 daughters are going to be there, and friends. And so y'all bless Mr. Buck's family by showing up and letting everybody see how much and some of y'all ain't able to. Some of y'all are miles away, but y'all be praying for Mr. Buck's family, his kids and his grandkids, and praying for those Mr. Bucks in this world that too quickly ride off without riding up. Adios.